Hello all, this is Shyam Kumar. Welcome to our YouTube channel Hobby Engineer Tech. So in this video, we are going to learn about Pega Google BigQuery Dataset. Okay. So before we actually start, so let us understand what is Google's BigQuery. Google BigQuery is a fully managed serverless data warehouse designed for large-scale data analytics. So basically, GCP provides various services, one of which is Google BigQuery. The Google BigQuery is mainly used for the data warehouse and also large-scale data analytics. So basically, it can handle petabytes of data with the lightning fast query speeds. So even if you have petabytes of data stored in your particular table, and suppose if you are going to write a query, and that query will provide you the results very fast. Okay. And so should we learn any other language other than the basic ANSI SQL? No. Yeah. So the BigQuery uses the familiar ANSI SQL so that making it accessible to many analysts. Yeah. And the advantage of BigQuery is it actually uses something called columnar storage. Okay, that which optimizes the query performance by only reading relevant data. Basically, the traditional systems like PostgreSQL, Microsoft SQL Server uses something called row storage, but whereas the Google BigQuery uses a columnar storage, which actually improves the query performance. As we have seen in the first point that it handles the petabytes of data with very lightning fast query speeds, right? So in order to achieve that, Google BigQuery is using columnar storage. Yeah. And yeah, in BigQuery, the tables are managed under datasets. That means in order to create a table, you have to create a dataset. Okay. So suppose if you want to access a table in BigQuery, right? So we have to follow this structure. Project ID dot dataset ID dot table name. That means for project ID, we'll have a folder in the book BigQuery, and under project ID folder, we will create our own datasets, and under our datasets, we can create tables or views, whatever it is. Okay. So now we are going to do two things in this particular video. One is integrating Pega and also Google BigQuery. Another thing is to build a use case to ingest the data from a particular table which is created inside the BigQuery. Okay, now coming to the integration, right? How we can connect Pega platform to Google BigQuery? Yeah, by using Google BigQuery dataset, which got introduced in Pega platform 24.2. Okay, and yeah, so once we create this data set, we'll be able to map the table columns to the Pega platform properties. Yeah, suppose for example, if there are three columns, let us say customer ID, full name, and credit score. So in Pega also, we can have properties related to those three columns. It can be same properties. I mean, it can be the properties with the same name or different name. So Pega dataset will be uh, giving us the feasibility to provide appropriate mapping. Okay. And with the Pega BigQuery dataset, you can either integrate with the tables or views. Okay. Both are supported actually. Now, what is the use case which we are going to build in this session? So let's say an organization is inserting or updating its customer credit score data into a table in BigQuery daily. So daily some calculation happens, and so since that organization is using GCP platform, they are using BigQuery to have a particular view or a table, okay, to store the customer's credit score information. Okay, so now let us say you want to build a data job which runs daily to get the data from BigQuery table and insert into inside Pega credit score table, which is used for CDH to make next best action decisions. Yeah, this use case is mainly for CDH use cases. For example, in CDH, basically we will do the data ingestion for various tables required. So to do that ingestion, Pega CDH has a feature called data job. Okay, so we can create a data job and we can provide the source and also the destination. And we can schedule when should the data job has to be run. So in our use case, the source would be the BigQuery table, and also the destination would be our own credit score table. Yeah, we'll build this particular use case in this particular session. So let's start our configuration. First of all, let's go through the entire Google's BigQuery um landing page, and also let us see how to create a data set, how to create a table, how to insert the records, etc. We will actually see in this particular first phase. Okay. So before that, so please make sure that you have access to your GCP account. I'm going to use my own GCP account in this particular video. Yeah. And also make sure that the BigQuery service is enabled. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, in this particular slide, in this particular slide, we are going to discuss about how to navigate to Google BigQuery, how to create a table, understand the table structure, okay, and also create a particular table and also insert records into it. Yeah. So let us quickly go through the configuration of BigQuery. So first of all, you have to navigate to cloud.google.com. Okay. And then here we'll have something called console. So click on the console. It will open console.cloud.google.com. This is your console. If you are unable to see this particular screen, see any YouTube video which will actually introduce yourself to setting up the GCP account. Yeah. So in this console, let us search for BigQuery. Okay. So here you can see, you can click on this BigQuery. So ideally, when you first open this particular Google BigQuery service, right, it will not open like this. So it might be showing something called enable the BigQuery API. You have to enable that BigQuery API. Then it will take some time to enable the BigQuery API, and then you can go ahead and use this BigQuery Studio. Okay, perfect. So now let us discuss a few main things. So first one is in the left corner, we'll have something called as an Explorer. So in this Explorer, by default, a folder will be created with your project ID. Okay. So here you can see, right, I am in my first project. So basically, in Google BigQueries, you will create projects. Okay. In projects, you will create various resources. For example, this is my project, my first project, and it has an ID. So this ID gets generated by Google BigQuery itself. So this is my ID. With this particular ID, by default, a folder got created. Okay. So in order to create a table in BigQuery, you have to create a data set under your project folder. So how to create it? Click on this View Actions button. Click on Create a Data Set. Okay. So yeah, maybe I will provide Hobby Engineer Deck, my YouTube channel name. So this is my dataset ID. And in the location type, you can select the multi-region. That means so the BigQuery will be operated in multi-region so that we have greater flexibility. And in the multi-region, I will be using this US multiple regions default option to be selected. And go to the advanced options. So in the advanced options, in the case insensitive, select this enable case insensitive table names. This is not mandatory. So just to make sure that in our query names, right, if you use insensitive table names, it should work. So that is why I'm enabling this. Yeah. And don't touch any other options. Simply click on create dataset. Okay. So once you create a dataset in this particular folder, we have something called HPD. So this is our dataset. Okay, now let's create a table under this particular dataset. How to create? Click on View Actions, Create Table. There are many options of creating a table under a dataset, but we will discuss a very easy option. Okay, so click on View Actions button uh, beside to this dataset name and go ahead and click on Create a Table. Okay, in the create table form, there will be many options. So we'll select empty table. Okay, And as I said, the tables will be part of dataset and dataset will be part of project. So our project and dataset are already populated. Let us go ahead and give the name for table. Okay. So now what is the table name? Let us say customer credit score. So this is my table name. And table type, yeah, it can be native table. And in the add field, let us add fields. Okay. So first one, let us say customer ID. It can be string and it is not nullable. That means it is required. And the second one is full name. Okay, it can be nullable. And the third one is credit score. So credit score in the type, I will be selecting numeric as a value. Okay. So when we select numeric, it is asking precision, scale, rounding mode. Okay. I'm not selecting anything. Okay. That is fine. So I have three columns over here and simply click on create table. So it will create a table under our dataset. Okay. So now our table is actually ready. You can click on this table to view the information of this table. So when you click on this table, you can see, right? We have three attributes over here: customer ID, full name, and a credit score. Okay. And you can go to the details. You can see the table ID. See, the table ID is very important. So the table ID is project ID dot dataset dot customer credit score, which is our table name. And number of rows are zero. Okay, number of rows are zero because we haven't inserted anything into it. Okay. Now let's actually do a query and insert few records into this particular table. So yeah, you can click on when you open the table, you can just click on the query. It will open a query landing page over here. And here, let us write down our insert query. So insert into what is our table name? So table name is, so when you go to the details, right, this is the table ID. So just copy this table ID. You can also copy the table ID by clicking on view actions button next to the table name over here. So simply click on view actions and copy ID. Okay. So here, let us provide the table ID over here. How we have to provide is we have to use backtick. Okay. So you not single quote, it is backtick. Okay. And what are the columns we want to insert into? Customer ID, full name, and a credit score. Okay. So customer ID, full name, comma, credit score. All right. And what are the values we are going to insert? So let us insert one value in it. So maybe customer ID is C hyphen 123, and this gonna be a string, right? Comma. So full name. Okay. It's John K. So credit score. This is a numeric value. Let us provide around 790.0. Okay. So yeah, when you have written the query, the GCP BigQuery will process this syntax, whether this is correct or not. You can see a green tick over here. This query will process 0 bytes when run. I mean, a green tick specifies that there is no issues for this particular query. So once your query is ready, just click on run. Yeah. When you click on run, you can see that this statement added one row to customer credit score. Okay. You can use select a query to get the information, or you can go to the preview tab, okay, of the table. So in the preview tab, you can see that the customer ID has been added over here. So this is how you have to create a data set, a table, and insert the data into the BigQuery. Okay. So let us add a few more customers. So 1 to 4, Let me copy this entire query. Okay, maybe let me try this. The values of 1 second. Okay, so the second one would be, yeah, first one is Ankit K, 1 to 5. So I'm giving some random names over here. Perfect. And let us see if the query is okay. We can run this. It will take some time to process, and you can see that 3 rows are added to customer credit score table. If I go to the preview and just click on refresh, I can see 4 records in it. Perfect. Yeah, this is how we will actually insert the data into a particular BigQuery dataset. Okay. So now let us go back to our presentation document. Yeah. Now we have seen how to create a particular data set inside BigQuery, and we have also seen how to create a table, and we can also create a views as well. So, for example, what are views generally? Views are nothing but it's kind of a restricted views actually. Table will contain lot of information. Views are nothing but they are sub part of the table. Okay, there are again two kinds of views, materialized views and non-materialized views. Non-materialized views doesn't store any information. Okay, during the runtime, the actual query gets executed and the data will be retrieved. Whereas the materialized views will have the data in it. Okay, and the materialized views will have refresh cycles, and based upon those refresh cycles, those will be updated accordingly. And now let us create a view very quickly. How to create a view? So you can open a query window over here, and let us write a select query. So select star from. Okay, what is our table name? Our table name is this one, right? Okay, where? So what are the columns we are actually having? Credit score, full name, and customer ID. Let us say I want to create a view where the credit score of the customers is greater than 700, where credit score is greater than or equal to 700. So this is my query. When I actually run it, it is showing me two results. Now, in order to save this as a view, you can click on save and click on save view. And here we have to select the project ID and the data set it belong to and the table name. So table name in the sense like the view name. So let us say no, higher credit score individuals. So this is my view name and I will click on save. You can see here under the table a view also got created. It is higher score individual. So now I will show you one difference. So this is my table, right? So this is my table. When you click on the details, so here it is showing the number of rows as 4. Okay. And if I go to the view and click on the details, it says number of rows as 0. But okay. But when you actually query this particular view, we will get the data. So let us say select star from, this is our view ID, limit 1000. So when you click on run, it will show me the two records. So, but why does this particular view not showing any records in the number of row column? What is the reason? So the reason is, yeah, so views are of two types. So this is a non-materialized view. Non-materialized view will not store any information in it. Okay, it's kind of a virtual table. Views are nothing but virtual table. So they are actually used to limit the access to the data. Okay, suppose for example you want to share the data to a particular application, but not all the data present in the table. So then you will create a view, and this view will actually take care of show limiting the access based upon the SQL query which you have used initially to create a view. So from Pega, you can connect to either table or view. So both are supported. Perfect. Now the configuration at Google BigQuery site is actually done. All right. So now let us discuss about GCP service account. What is a service account? So we need a service account to be created in GCP account and allow BigQuery policy to it. But why do we actually need a service account? So what are service accounts basically? Service accounts provide a way for backend applications, okay, to authenticate and access resources without requiring human credentials. This is actually essential for automated processes and background tasks. So basically, um, the Pega as an application is trying to access the GCP resources, right? At that particular point of time, Pega has to authenticate itself that it is an authorized resource. So then, for that, we will not use our human credentials. We will use these service accounts basically for backend machines communication purpose. So yeah, in this point we see that so Pega will use details of created service account for authentication and to access the resource. In our case, it is BigQuery. Okay, so basically, in Google Cloud Platform, everything is a resource. Basically, if you take Compute Engine, it is a resource. Google BigQuery, it is a resource. Okay, Cloud SQL, it is a resource. These are called resources, correct, or services. So in order for Pega to access Google BigQuery, which is a resource supported by Google Cloud Platform, we need to create a service account. So let us create a service account and generate a key. Now let's actually go back to BigQuery Google Cloud Platform. Now in the search, remove this particular BigQuery and search for service account. So you will find the service account, right click on it and simply click on open in new tab. Okay. So it will open the service accounts dashboard over here. So here, let us actually create a service account. So create a service account. So here we have three steps over here. Let us provide the service account name. So Pega GCP access. So this is my service account name. Click on create and continue. Okay. Now this service account needs to access Google BigQuery, right? So we have to provide a role. So provide BigQuery admin. So here I am going to view the admin access for this particular service account. Click on continue. And in the third step, nothing to provide anything. Click on done. So our service account actually got created. You can clearly see here, right? So Pega GCP access. So this is the one which we have created. Okay. Pega GCP access. Now let's open this service account. Okay. And keep it like this. Now let's go to our PowerPoint presentation. Yeah. So now let us do the Pega configurations. So Pega has provided detailed configurations in docs.pega.com. Okay. And let's follow the documentation and configure the required things. So there are two parts of configuration. One is security configuration. Second one is BigQuery integration. So in the security configuration, we have to create a key store, token profile, and authentication profile. Whereas in BigQuery integration, we have to create BigQuery instance and also the BigQuery dataset. Okay. Now let's navigate to this particular documentation. I will provide you this particular documentation link in the comment section of this particular YouTube video. And also I will try to share this PowerPoint presentation. Uh, yeah, the link I will be sharing in the description of this particular YouTube video. Okay. So here Pega has provided very detailed steps to connect to Google BigQuery. Okay. So yeah, so just go through the documentation. This is the first documentation. So I'm not going through, I mean, this doesn't contain any configuration. So go to the second one, creating a Google BigQuery configuration instance. Okay. So before we actually create a Google BigQuery configuration instance, the first step is to configure the security, correct? So here we have a link, create an OAuth 2.0 profile with a JWT bearer. Basically, we are Pega will be connecting to Google Cloud Platform with the help of OAuth 2.0 authentication and with the method of JWT. So Pega will send a JWT token to the token endpoint, and then it will receive a bearer token. Okay, and again the Pega will be using that particular bearer token and will be accessing the resource. Okay, so there are, yeah, I will create a separate video how this particular JWT authentication will actually work. So yeah, navigate to this, and here we'll be having steps to create Google Cloud key store instance, token profile, and also authentication profile. So the first step is to create a key store instance. Okay. So before we actually create a key store, we have to download a private key from our service account. So when you actually created a service account and opened it, right? This is how it actually looks. So go to the keys section of it. So in the keys section of it, we don't have any keys so far. Now let us add a key. So create a new key, and so Pega supports P12 format. So select the P12 and click on create, and it will download a key for us. Okay. So you can see that a key has been downloaded, and you will also find the private key password for it. So in our case, it is this value. So let us copy this private key password and click on close. Okay. So now, yeah, we need a Pega instance, right? So how do we uh, get a Pega instance? See, if you are having a local machine, yeah, we can use that. So, but what I am using is, so I have launched this decision consultant mission in the Pega Academy, and here we have a mission called Always On Outbound Customer Engagement. So in this particular mission, I am using the last instance. Okay, sharing action details with a third party. So I have opened this particular challenge and launched the Pega instance. Okay, so when you launch the Pega instance, it will take some time to actually launch. So this is how the screen look like. Okay, and you can open the Pega Infinity by clicking on Pega Infinity over here. So you have to use credentials specified in this particular mission, which is a decisioning architect and rules. Okay, I have logged in with that particular decisioning architect and rules, and it has opened the customer decision hub. But how to navigate to Dev Studio? Yeah, in the left panel, go to Intelligence Prediction Studio. Okay, so once the Prediction Studio is launched, go to the Dev Studio. So this is how you navigate from the customer decision hub portal to developer studio. So once the dev studio has been opened up, go to your access group and update the default portal from customer decision hub to dev studio. Okay. So here I am going to select developer and click on save. So once you have updated the access group, refresh this browser. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Now let us do our own configurations. So first one is to create a key store. Okay. So let us go ahead and create a key store instance. So how to create a key store instance? Go to create, okay, security, and here we'll be having key store. So what is a key store? At a high level, key store stores the private key. It's a data instance, basically. Yeah. So let us provide the name for this particular key store. Uh, so, okay, let me provide GCP private key. Okay, just create and open. So once you create and open, so here we have to provide the key store location. There are many ways in which you can provide the location. So here I'm going to select upload file because I have downloaded the file. So I want to upload the file. Okay. So in the key store file name, click on upload file, choose the file and select the file which you have downloaded earlier. Click on upload file. Okay. Once you upload the file in the key store type, provide the value as pkcs12. So this is the key store type. And in the key store password, as you can see right earlier the GCP has shown us the password. We have to type the same password. So I have actually typed the password which has given to me when I created this particular key. Okay, the first step is actually completed. Now what is the second step? So second step is to create a token profile. Okay, we have to, in order for Pega to generate a token profile, okay, sorry, token JWT token profile is actually used. So create security and token profile. Yeah. So the token type is JSON Web Token and purpose is generation. Basically, we have to generate this token. So name of this is so GCP JWT. So this is the name I want to give. Click on create and open. So yeah, JWT token comprises of three parts: headers, claims, and also the security. So I will create a separate video uh, to explain what are these headers, claims, and also the security. And I will explain the behind things as well. So for now, the configuration perspective, let us add headers. Okay. So in the header section, first of all, we have to add the key ID. Okay. In the map from, we have to select the constant. And in the map from key, we have to get the ID of this particular key which we have generated. So go to the Pega GCP access service account which we have created. In this, we will have a key. So copy this key. So come to here and provide the key ID over here. Okay. Now, in the claim section, we are having registered claims and custom claims. In the registered claims, we have to select issuer. Okay. And the second one is subject. Audience is not required for Google BigQuery and also Google PubSub. So in the map from, select the constant. Okay. Now, what are the values we have to provide in those two sections? So go to the service account again, go to the details, and for every service account, an email gets created. Okay. Copy this particular email and go to the Dev Studio. And in the map from key, provide this value for both issue and issuer and subject. Perfect. Now coming to the custom claims. So here we have to provide the scope. In map from clipboard, select the constant. Now, in this map from key, go to the Pega documentation. Okay. And here copy. So in the 14th step, here they will provide what is the value which has to go into the scope. If it is Google BigQuery or Google PubSub, we have to copy this. Now go back to Pega Dev Studio and paste it over here. Perfect. Now scroll down. In the security configuration, we have to select signature, and signature type is asymmetric, and the signature algorithm is RS256. Now what is the key store? We have already created a GCP private key. Select that. Okay. And in the alias, we have to select private key, and in the password you have to provide the same key which is provided when you created a key. So here I'm entering a password. So I have entered the password. Now in the token lifetime, provide 3600 seconds and simply click on save. Now the token profile is actually created. This token profile will be used by Pega to generate a JWT token and to get the bearer token. Okay. So you can actually associate your data instances to your application rule set so that those will be part of your uh, pipeline deployment. Yeah, this is a best practice. So yeah, now the second step is also completed. What is the third step? So third step is to create authentication profile. Okay, we have to create an authentication profile. So create security. Here, select authentication profile. In the type, select OAuth 2.0. So the name of it is maybe GCP underscore OAuth. Just create and open. Okay, all right. So here, let me quickly select my application. Now in the OAuth 2.0 provider, select Google, and the grant type is JWT bearer. Now in the client identifier, we have to provide the unique ID of our service account. So go to our service account, and here in the details tab, we will have the unique ID. So copy this unique ID and paste it over here. And in the client secret, we are not going to pass anything because the client secret is nothing but the bearer token which will be provided us from the Google when we sent our generated JWT token. And that client secret will be passed as authorization header by this authentication profile itself. Okay, no need to worry. So now the JWT assertion, select use JWT generation profile. Okay. So here select the GCP underscore JWT. Perfect. And in the endpoint configuration, no other changes. Scroll down. And in the client authentication, so yeah. So first of all, to this particular endpoint, our JWT token will be sent and we will receive a bearer token. And that bearer token we will be using to send us a client secret as an authorization header using TLS version 1.2 protocol. So simply click on save. So yeah, we have created an authentication profile as well. Okay, now the security configuration is completed. Now what is the configuration is pending? BigQuery integration, correct? So we have to create a BigQuery instance and also BigQuery dataset. So first let us create BigQuery instance. Go to create sysadmin, and here we'll have BigQuery, Google BigQuery. Click on Google BigQuery. So GCP underscore BigQuery underscore instance one. So this is the name which I am providing over here. Click on create and open. Now in the authentication profile, so provide the OAuth authentication profile which we have provided, which is GCP OAuth. And so here we have to provide the table path. Okay. So for every table, we have to create one Google BigQuery instance. So here there are two options. We can hard code the table path by selecting the single path, or else you can use application settings with the path. So what is the purpose of the second option is, suppose we have four environments. Let us say development, staging, pre-production, and production. And in the every environment, you have a different table to work on. At the time, you can create an application setting and you can provide the application setting over here. So let me go ahead with the single path. So in the single path here, I have to provide the table path. So let me go to the Pega GCP. Okay, let me go to the BigQuery once and let me copy this table ID. Copy the ID of customer credit score. So provide the table path over here and click on save. And best practice is to associate the data instances to your application rule set for the application pipeline deployment. Yeah, we have created a Google BigQuery instance. Now let us click on test connectivity. Okay. Now that the connection is established, as our configuration is working fine. That means our configuration is working fine. So now what we have to do, we have to create a BigQuery dataset. So go to the create data model dataset. Okay. So now since this particular dataset will be pointing to Google BigQuery table, which you have created, which is nothing but customer credit score, I will provide the same name. So customer credit score. And in the type, I will provide Google BigQuery. Okay. And in the apply to class, I'm going to provide. Okay. So, okay. Before creating a data set, right? Let us go ahead and create a data type. Basically, the idea is to create a data type with the name of customer credit score. Add a data type. So customer credit score. Click on submit. Now let's add the required fields in this. Customer ID will already be there in our inheritance path. So let us add full name and also the credit score. Two fields in it. Okay. Let me add two fields. So full name and credit score. So for the credit score, I can provide maybe decimal I can actually provide, but I will put it as a text single line. Okay, click on submit. And then I will go to records and I will configure the table for it. So click on configure source. So scroll down and let us add customer ID. So pick the one which is present in data class and mark it as a key. So yeah, first one will be the customer ID, full name and the credit score. Click on submit. Yeah, now that our table is actually created and there is no data in it for now. Correct. Now let us go back to our create dataset window and in the apply to class, let me provide the credit score class. So I'm going to let me copy, yeah, let me copy this particular class name and paste it over here. Okay, all right. And click on create and open. Yeah, I think this landing page is actually loading. That is why this create and open is not working. Let's wait for some time. Okay. Yeah. So now our data set has been created. So here we have the connection section. In this, we have to select our Google BigQuery instance, which we have created. And in the mapping section, let's select the columns which we require to ingest. So we need all the columns, customer ID, credit score, and the full name. We have also partitioning and the clustering. But yeah, I haven't researched on these two attributes. Maybe in future, if I research on this, I will make another video. So click on submit. Okay, and so all these three columns has been added, and here we have to select our Pega properties. Yeah. So the customer ID will be there in our inheritance. I will be selecting the same property, and yeah, full name we have created. And the credit score also we have created. We have created it as a text property. A numeric column can be mapped to text property, but vice versa is not possible. You can try on your own. So now the data set has been created. Now let me quickly run this data set. So when you run this particular data set, you will have two options. Browse and save. So there are two operations. So let us select browse and click on run. So it will browse the table and it will generate the results and will provide it over here. And the save operation, you can also save the data from Pega to BigQuery. That is also possible. So since we are having four records inside Google BigQuery table, so four records has been popped up here. So the first one is C123 with a credit score 790. Second one is C126, third one and fourth one. You can clearly see that we can able to see all the records. Okay, that means yeah, our integration part is actually completed now. Now let us actually build a use case. So what is the use case? We have to create a data job to ingest the credit score data from BigQuery dataset, basically BigQuery table to Pega credit score table via a BigQuery dataset. So yeah, in customer decision hub, right? We'll be having something called a data jobs. We can create the data jobs for the profile data sources and we can ingest the data. So first of all, this particular in this customer credit score class, let us create a data set. Let us create a database, a table data set, since we have created a database table for it, correct? So there is already a data set, which is the Google BigQuery ones. I want to create another data set. So why I am creating a data set is in order to add it as a profile data source, I need a data set. So credit score local and the type is a database table and the class is the same customer credit score and I will click on create and open. Okay. And simply click on save. Now let's go back to Customer Decision Hub portal and in the left navigation, go to the data and profile data sources. Okay. Now let us add a data set. So select existing data set, click on next. And what is the data set name which we have created? So customer credit score. So this is the one which we have created. So select this and click on add. So once you add this, so open this So this is a BigQuery dataset. Okay. So you can see the attributes over here. And if you go to the records, it is also showing a sample of 10 records. Since we are having only 4, it is showing up 4. Now we want to use this particular data set and we want to store the data into our database table, correct? So for that, we have to add another data set as well. So let me add the newly created ones, credit score local. So this is the destination data set. So click on add. Let me refresh this. So add dataset, select existing dataset, and in this dataset name provide the credit score local and click on add. Okay, so credit score local has been added. So this is the destination dataset. That means we have to create a data job for this particular dataset. So open this dataset and go to the data jobs and click on create import data job. Okay, so click on next. And from where we have to import the data? So from the customer credit score Google BigQuery. So click on next. And here we have two options, update existing data and add new records, and also replace all existing data with the new data. So by default, the first option has been selected and click on next. And here, how many times the data job has to be triggered. So here, let us select multiple times a day. So for every, let us say 30 seconds, this particular data job has to be executed. So click on next. And fail, you can fail this particular data flow run after n number of failed records. So here I'm providing 1000. So that means after 1000 failed records, this data job will be failed. Okay. So you can see this is the data job name and this is the job scheduler ID. The source is customer credit score, which is BigQuery dataset. And how we are triggering is using the schedule or job scheduler. And we'll be failing this particular data flow after 1000 runs. And the target dataset is credit score local, which is a database table dataset. So simply click on create. All right. So now this is active. Let us wait for 30 seconds and let us see how this is getting executed. You can open this particular data job by clicking on this particular name and it will open the data job. And it will also show you the instances, run instances. So let me click on refresh. Yeah, you can see that there is an instance has been inserted over here. Let us keep on clicking refresh. So I have given a very minimal amount of time. So that is why two instances got created within 30 seconds of time. Okay. So yeah, maybe let us wait. I could have provided maybe kind of 5 minutes. That is a very good amount of time. But considering the time constraint in this video, I have selected 30 seconds. Okay, so the first one is actually completed and there are 4 input records are 4, successful records are 4. Let me deactivate this job. Okay, now let me go to the Pega Dev Studio and the table which we have created, right? The customer credit score. So let me refresh this. Yeah, it is. I think it is taking some time to refresh. Okay. Yeah. So we can also go to Customer Decision Hub. Okay. And let me close this. So here we have this dataset credit score local rate. Go to the records and just click on refresh. Yeah, here you can see that the four records got imported into our database table. Yeah. And yeah, if I go to this particular data type, here also I can see there are four records in it. Awesome. So that means we have integrated Pega with Google BigQuery dataset, and also we have done a use case of writing a data job uh, to import the data from Google BigQuery. All right. So yeah, so try to play it with, so try to insert new records and see how the data is actually processing. Provide the maximum, I mean, provide some greater value, not 30 seconds. You can provide 5 minutes or 10 minutes based upon your convenience and then test it. Okay. All right. So thank you so much. So yeah, so please subscribe to this YouTube channel for further updates and for further new topic discussion and also uh, courses updates. Thank you, everyone.